something a little more lighter. You sent another one off out the house yesterday. This one to college. Nice
Yes,
road
sir.
trip or a very long road trip you had?
That was an extremely long road trip. It took me a full day to recover. But yeah, he's down there. I guess he starts classes next week. But yep, first one of my brood to go to college. So one in the military and one in college.
Congratulations, I say. You've done a good job so far there, Skinny G.
Yeah,
And
indeed. House feels a little empty right now, but we still got one left. So
yeah,
yeah,
cool. All right. So last night, this is my last trip home. Well, before I went home. Now I knew after this one, it's time to shut it down. So pick up this guy, and he's out in the rich part of Bethesda / Potomac, Maryland. Anyone
sure,
who's not familiar with the DC area, you've got basically the top 1% of the food chain that lives in the DC metropolitan area is either out in Potomac / Bethesda or Great Falls and McLean on the Virginia side.
sure.
So anyway, I'm sitting out there and I'm waiting, and then finally this guy comes out and he's got this huge board. And keep in mind, it's about 11:30, 12 o'clock at night.
Like a
But
surfboard.
I'm just like, okay, what's he gonna do with this board this time of night? But whatever. So verify the address with him, and then we start moving. And he's like, yeah, I just took a shit ton of mushrooms, man. I'm just like, oh my god, this is gonna be one hell of a trip.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. How do
So
I bend it?
anyway, so he's telling me about this board, and it's an electric board apparently. And then he's like, but this one here, the regular ones go 15 miles an hour, but this has dual motors, and it goes 30 miles an hour. I'm thinking to myself, is this guy really thinking about being on a motorized skateboard at 1 o'clock in the morning after eating mushrooms? Oh, this has got to get better. What you did.
Sure.
So
Sure.
then he, goes to talking, about how he got hit by a concrete truck a few months ago, and he was in the hospital for 3 months with a broken clavicle and broken femur and this and that. And I'm just thinking to myself, okay, is this really true, or it's just the mushrooms? And then it just gets more crazier and crazier. By the time we get downtown, he's on the phone with somebody, and he's looking outside. He's like, dude, the street's crawling underneath the car and the sidewalk's moving. Man, it was freaking hilarious. It was one of the funniest rides I think I've ever had, and I'm probably at 32,000 rides over 6.5 years.
I'm speechless. I'm really speechless. Yeah, because at first I thought you were talking about a surfboard, and then I've seen those motorized skateboards. Those things are pretty crazy.
No,
But
no. So yeah, this guy, yeah, like I said, this board had to be every bit of 3 or 4 feet long, dual motors. And he's like, but yeah, he's like, I ride a single a bike helmet on. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't care what kind of helmet that you have on, ride this thing in DC at that time of the late night, early morning after eating a bunch of psychedelic mushrooms, but whatever. Have a nice night, dude.
I
Don't
wouldn't
be a
ride that
statistic.
thing. I wouldn't ride that thing if I had a bubble wrap suit on. And then you compound it with the fact that this dude is doing, substances. Yeah, you'll see him
Right.
on the news. Accident happened down in
Possibly.
these. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
Yeah. Wow, that's interesting. Yeah, you really had a live one there. Yeah,
yeah,
you.
I get some weird stuff, here and there. It's not always a bunch of drunks. Sometimes I get crazy stuff like that, but that was entertaining from beginning to end. So,
Yeah, to say the least. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I might have to watch. I might have to watch NBC4 this afternoon to see if he pops up. A guy went to the emergency room after riding one of those skateboards.
right. Oh, and so then, this part could have been true, but he's like, oh, I was a chef for this Michelin star restaurant, and this, it's just almost like, okay, I don't know when you took these things, how many of these things you took, but this is the best entertainment that I've had in the car in a good long time.
Yeah, no doubt. And then you compound that with the fact that he said he got hit by a cement truck. Good
Yes.
lord.
Just a few months ago, or about 6 months ago, and then, he was in the hospital for 3 months, and it was like, you're not doing, okay. live and let live, right?
I, I guess, man. 2022 has not been his year. Good Lord.
No, hasn't been a lot of people's ears.
Fair enough. Fair enough. It's been one of those years, a bunch of highs and a bunch of lows. I think for everybody, recession, no recession.
Right.
It's just been a weird year coming off this pandemic. So.
Well, recession for us regular people who aren't in the top 1%, and then those who are in the top 1% or have all sorts of assets and money tied into the stock market. Yeah, they're doing great.
Sure, absolutely. The rest
Well,
of us
not all of them,
back.
but some of them are. I mean, and I think that's going to depend on where your money is at, because I've talked to a lot of people where depending on the diversification of their 401ks and stuff, yeah, they've been getting beat up for the last 7-8 months.
Oh yeah, and that seems to come. I've got one of those too, and it'll get to a certain point, then all of a sudden the recession bug hits again, and I've seen that 401k jump really high and then drop really low, and it's just like I don't even pay attention to it anymore. I mean,
right? Because over time, if you have the correct diversification, and it's constantly, just going to keep going up at some type of steady pace.
Absolutely, it'll just correct itself after a while. So I'll go in
Right,
once
exactly.
a year and I'll change up, how I have it diversified. So it'll be, maybe a little aggressive and in some areas and not as aggressive in others. But the best thing to do is just kind of leave that thing alone. Because if I spend all my time just watching that thing go up and down, I give myself a heart attack.
Mine was an ulcer.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll just work until they tell me I can't work and then hope for the best.
I'm going to push out the pastor.
Indeed. And then it looks like Walmart as a greeter.
Right. You can always back there with your guitar, man.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, bring
Working for tips.
Yeah, absolutely.
Welcome to Walmart.
Yeah, right. Busting at Walmart. I love it.
So you got anything for the audience this week?
Not much. I'm, feeling really blessed. Like I said, I got a kid in school now, and I got a kid in the Air Force, and one more still to graduate in a couple of years. So I'm feeling pretty all right. Glad to be on vacation for a couple of days.
All right, man. Well, good stuff. Well, folks, we're going to go ahead and get this one wrapped up.
All right.
Skinny G, until we meet again, sir.
Until next time, sir.
All right.